Hi, so I'm going to be doing my exam on a diagnostic audiometer on the Astera. So we are in the big booth at ISU. So to start, I'm going to make sure my headphones are plugged into the audiometer, which they are. This is going to let me talk to the patient and hear them when they're on that side. And we're going to actually go on that side to complete the listening check as well. So for this audiometer, I am going to use insert phones just to do my listening check. If I were doing a patient where I might know that I need other equipment, I would make sure that that is working as well. So on this screen, I can do my check at different intensities and different frequencies. So I'm going to start with my left ear. And I'm going to make sure it's in the left, and I'm going to present at a few different frequencies. I'm going to wiggle my cords. Sounds good. And I'm going to switch to my right ear. Make sure the right is working as well. And again, just going to present at some different tones and frequencies and shake my cords. And those sound good. So now that I've completed my listening check, I am going to go back to the audiometer on this side. Okay, and also I did a listening check, which is just making sure that a range of frequencies and intensities are coming through the transducer, and a biological check is just matching it to my own threshold, so knowing my threshold, making sure it's coming through there. So to start on the audiometer, we can choose a transducer two different ways. So we can start here on our audiometer. I can do insert, headphones, high frequency headphones, phone and speaker, or I can do it up here on my computer screen with these buttons here. And to select and present a stimulus, I can select my stimulus again on my audiometer here. Mic would be for speech, which is how we got to speech, but the tone is what we'll typically use. And I can also choose that on my computer screen where it says stimulus, and I can change that on my channel 1 where we're going to be presenting it through. And if I wanted to present the stimulus, I can, on my audiometer, I can change my frequency through these buttons here and my intensity here. And to present a tone, I can push the present button down here on my audiometer, or I can present with the button up here as well on my computer screen. If I also wanted to do narrowband noise, that would be down here in my masking section. So NBN is narrowband, and so that's how I would choose that there as well. So to overlay my audiograms, right now they're overlaid, so I can change between left and right by using my routing down here. So left, it's now turning blue, right is red. If I want to see them separately, I would just click this split view button up here, and now I see my right and my left separately instead of on top of each other. Typically we'll use this one where they do overlay though. If I want to talk to my patient, I would make sure to have my headset on so I can hear them and then I can talk to them through this mic. I would click my talk forward button down here, and if I needed to make sure my mic level was at a good level, I can use these buttons here, or I can use just my audiometer and I can press and hold the talk forward button and use my knob to turn it up or down so it's at a comfortable level for my patient. If I want to make sure that I can hear the patient talking back to me, I would make sure my talk back button is on my audiometer here. And so I'd click that and I'd be able to hear them through there. If I wanted to do it on my computer screen, I could do the check mark here for talk back and turn it up here, or on my audiometer by pressing and holding the volume button and using my knob as well. Headset settings, so I can either have them hear me through the headset that I'm wearing by having the headset mic button selected on the mic section, or I can click desktop mic and they would hear me through this microphone here. But since I like to hear them through the headset, I'll leave it on headset mic. To find the pure tone average, we would calculate their thresholds at 500, 1000, and 2000. We'd calculate that average by adding them and dividing by 3. I don't believe we use the pure tone data on here because it is at a skewed level, so I would just calculate it to make sure. If I wanted to find their threshold, I would start probably at 1030, and this is in their right ear through the insert that we tested. I'd present the tone. Let's say they heard it. I'd go down 10 to 20. They heard it. They didn't hear it, so I'll go to 15. They heard it, so I'll go up to 5. They heard it. I'm sorry, they didn't hear it. And they did hear it at 10. So I would store that as their threshold at 1000 by clicking the store button on my audiometer. Or I could click the store button here to store it as well. I could also go up in intensity using these buttons or the knob, or I can change frequency using these arrows or the frequency arrows on my audiometer. If I wanted to change my increment levels for decibels, I could choose them on the audiometer. I could do 1, 2, and 5, or I can do it on my computer screen as well by doing the buttons here. We would typically keep it on 5 though, just because that's what we do. We don't necessarily need to click an extended range on this one. They're already available to us, but there is a warning once we hit 105, and that warns us right here that we are pretty loud. So that's just kind of our trigger to be careful. And if we were to mask, we would want to make sure that we're in the other channel. So we're going to cover up one of the ears with the masking narrowband noise, and it's going to be in our left ear, or we can do them in both if we really wanted to, or the right, either way. So that's how we would change that. Or on the computer screen, we would make sure masking is checked on channel 2, and the transducer is also insert, and then what ear it's going into. If I wanted to make sure that the masking was continuously on while we're doing the testing, I would hit continuous on, and it'll continuously have the masking at whatever intensity I have it set. Right now it's at 40 dB. To turn it off, I would turn that off. If I wanted to change, if I wanted to like interlock my stimuluses or stimuli, I would click stim lock here, or I can do that on my computer here as well. If I wanted to track both of my frequencies up and down at the same time, I would click tracking, and then I would use my knob and they would both move in 5 dB increments. And if I didn't want it to do that, I could take it off on my audiometer or here on the computer screen. For a response method, we have buttons in all of the booths, or we could have them raise their hand, or with a kid. We wouldn't typically be in this booth, but we might, and we could do condition play and they would use blocks or toys or something like that. If I wanted to erase my results, so I'm just going to store a few for sake of practicing this. If I wanted to just erase one point, let's say they ended up confirming at 1000 hertz a different threshold, I could delete point and then it goes away. If I wanted to delete my whole curve, I would right click and hit delete curve, and now it's all gone. If I wanted to access my speech material to do speech testing, I would click the speech button up on the screen, and this comes up with all of my speech options. I can choose a list of a recorded list here. I can hit play and stop on this screen here. I can also hit play and stop on my audiometer, and if they got it incorrect, I could push it here. Correct, I could push it here, or up on my screen as well. And the CPT code for diagnostic pure tone audiometry is 92552, and if we were to also do bone, it'd be 92553.